A very good afternoon to everyone. I'm Manjula Gupta giving a lecture on Introduction to Financial Management. Let us start. So, in order to understand the meaning of financial management, it is necessary to understand the meaning of finance first. So, I'll be telling you about finance. Finance touches survival. Management of finance is an optimal manner is inevitable for success of any business. The finance function has been defined differently by different writers and differently over time. According to G.L. Jones, the simplest way of understanding finance is to say that finance is what finance does. So, as you all know, that finance is the lifeblood of the business. We cannot think of survival of any business, existing of any business, or starting an entrepreneurship without having the finance. So, the only conclusion one may make with the respect to finance is that it has a marvelous ability to evoke different concepts in the minds of men every aspect of our life, holds the key to all activities. It has been described as the lifeblood of the business. The blood in our body needs to be regulated to ensure smooth circulation for healthy survival. So, what is finance? Finance is the art and science of managing money. Finance is the lifeblood of business. Finance versus money. सो देखिए फाइनेंस की जो परिभाषा है वो सबके माइंड में अलग अलग है. फाइनेंस जब हम एक बिजनेस एक एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप को रन करने के लिए जितने भी ऑपरेशंस हैं उसको शुरू करने के लिए जो पैसा हमें चाहिए उसको फाइनेंस का नाम दिया जाता है. या मनी मनी का मतलब इटसेल्फ ही पैसा है. मनी इज इन द इट्स इनिशियल फॉर्म. मनी मतलब पैसा. बट फाइनेंस मतलब द रिक्वायरमेंट्स. फाइनेंस आल्सो इंक्लूड्स ऑल द रिक्वायरमेंट्स दैट आर अटैच्ड टू द बिजनेस. So I will be classifying finance on the basis of two categories: financial services and financial management. So in case of financial services, if I talk about, there are a lot of services which comes under financial services: advisory services, designing financial products, investments, real estate and insurance, personal financial planning. And in the category of financial management, management of finance department in a firm, financial, non-financial, public, private, NGOs, etc. Budgeting, forecasting, cash and credit management, investment analysis, etc. So these are the categories in which finance is divided. So let us start the meaning of financial management. So देखिए, financial management is totally depends upon finance. It is an arrangement of funds. Funds means finance. So according to Ezra Solomon, financial management is concerned with the efficient use of an important economic resources with capital funds. Financial management means planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the financial activities such as procurement and utilization of funds of the enterprise. So किसी भी enterprise की जितने भी funds हैं, money requirement है, उनके लिए पहले planning करना, फिर उन फंड्स को कैसे ऑर्गेनाइज किया जाएगा, उनको डायरेक्ट कैसे किया जाएगा, उनका यूज क्या किया जाएगा, और हाउ दे वुड बी कंट्रोल्ड. कंट्रोल इंक्लूड्स हाउ द डिसीजंस वुड बी taken in respect to investing these funds. Okay, so the meaning and definition of financial management. फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट मींस मनी मैनेजमेंट. बेसिकली जो फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट का मतलब होता है ना, वो मनी मैनेजमेंट से ही होता है. ठीक है, फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट एक सारा का सारा ओवरऑल एक ऑपरेशन है जो एक फर्म के अंदर शुरुआत से लेकर अंत तक होता है. पैसे के संबंधी जितने भी कार्य करते हैं, पैसे को सबसे पहले ऑर्गेनाइज किया जाता है, मनी को अरेंज किया जाता है, फिर उस पैसे को यूज किया जाता है, उससे ऑपरेशंस किए जाते हैं, बिजनेस के जितने भी एक्टिविटीज हैं दैट आर कंडक्टेड विद द हेल्प ऑफ फाइनेंस. एंड आफ्टर दैट जब वो पैसे को हम अपने कॉस्ट को अचीव कर लेते हैं, वो रेवेन्यू हम अर्न कर लेते हैं, द डिसीजन दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड टू बी टेकन बाय द financial manager is to investing the funds, how to invest them. So as an academic discipline, the subject of financial management has undergone radical changes in relation to its scope, functions and objectives. In the past, financial management was confined to raising of funds and its procedural aspects. In the broader sense, it is now concerned with the optimum use of financial aspects. And in the broader sense, now it is concerned with the optimum of financial resources in addition to its procurement. Therefore, financial management is that part of management which is concerned mainly with, there are two functions which I'm mainly telling you about financial management. That is fundraising, and the second one is use of fund. Very, very important, functions of financial management. raising the right type of funds in the most economic and suitable manner for where to raise funds, because you all know that we have to pay some cost in case of raising funds also. And now the second question that arises in the mind of financial manager is to how to use that funds. So using the funds is the most profitable and selected possible manner. So I'm coming to the next slide. Financial management is an operational activity. Basically, जितने भी कार्य हो रहे हैं एक enterprise में, which is accountable for the effective utilization of funds necessary for operations. So one of the primary objectives of financial management is to maintain enough money to meet the necessary current and capital expenditure, apart from maximizing profits. The next, these are the definitions. So I am telling you the most popular definition of financial management given by L.M. Pandey. Financial management is that managerial activity which is concerned with the planning and controlling of firms' financial resources. And in another definition given by Archer and Ambrosia, financial management is the application of the planning and control functions to the finance functions. Then another definition given by Joseph and Masick, financial management is the operational activity of the business that is responsible for obtaining and effectively utilizing the funds that are necessary for the operation. So these are the definitions. So I'm coming to the next slide. Importance of financial management. So first of all, in terms of importance, I would be discussing the applicability, because financial management is itself a phrase which is managing the funds. So applicability, the principle of finance is applicable where there is a cash flow. The concept of cash flow is one of the central elements of financial analysis, planning, control, and resource allocation decisions. Cash flow is important because financial health of the firm depends upon its ability to generate sufficient amounts of cash to pay its employees, suppliers, creditors, and owners. Any organization, whether motivational with earning of profit or not, having cash flow requires to be viewed from the angle of financial discipline. Therefore, financial management is equally applicable to all the forms of the business, sole traders, partnerships, companies. So it is applicable to non-profit organization also, like trusts, societies, governmental organization, public sector enterprise, etc. Then second point is chances of failure. देखिए, any firm having the latest technology, sophisticated machinery, high caliber marketing and technical experts may fail to succeed sometimes unless its finances are managed on a sound and principles of financial management. जब तक हम पैसे का finance, उसका जो arrangement है, management है, वो अच्छे से नहीं करेंगे, तो अगर हमारी चाहे टेक्नोलॉजी कितनी वास्ट हो, कितनी सोफिस्टिकेटेड हो, कितना हाई कैलिबर हो हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के पास, failure हो सकता है. So the strength of the business lies in its financial discipline. Therefore, finance function is treated as primary, which enables another function like production, marketing, purchase, personnel to be more effective in the achievement of organizational goals and objectives. The next is return on investment. Anybody invests his money will mean to earn a reasonable return on his investment. The owners of the business try to maximize their wealth. It depends on the amount of cash flows expected to be generated for the benefit of owners, the timing of these cash flows, and the risk attached to these cash flows. The greater the time, the risk associated with the expected cash flow, the greater is the rate of return required by the owners. The financial management study the risk return perception of the owners and the time value of the money. Now, nature of financial management, a very, very important concept, nature. Nature means its features, its characteristics. Financial management is mainly concerned with the proper management of funds. The financial manager must see that the funds are procured in a manner that there is risk, cost, and control. Considerations are properly balanced in a given situation, and there is an optimum utilization of funds. Then let us discuss about the scope of financial management. Scope decides the areas. किस context में financial management कार्य करता है, क्या उसका कहाँ तक confined है, क्या उसका दायरा है काम करने का, financial management के जो functions है वो कहाँ तक confined है. तो all decisions that have monetary benefits come under the purview of financial management. There are basically two approaches for understanding the scope of financial management. One is traditional approach and another is modern approach. So we give definition of financial management, or the scope. We define the scope of financial management into two broad categories. The one is traditional approach. Traditional means that approach which is very, very old. So it views the scope of financial finance function in a narrow sense of arrangement of funds by business firm to meet their financing needs. Hence, the following three interrelated aspects of raising and administering funds are covered. So in the previous that I told you about the traditional approach, there are 3-4 functions that the firm performs: arrangement of finance from the institution, raising of funds in the capital market through financial instruments, including the procedural aspects, legal and accounting aspects involved for raising the funds for the firm. So the traditional approach was criticized by some reasons, also by some eminent authors, by some eminent experts of financial management. Number one, it emphasized only the issues relating to procurement of funds and ignored the issues related to internal financial decisions. तो इसने क्या किया है मैनेजमेंट में, इसमें क्या कमी है? सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि इसमें केवल प्रोक्योरमेंट ऑफ फंड्स की तरफ ध्यान दिया गया, उनका अरेंजमेंट। देखिए, फंड्स को केवल प्रोक्योर करना ही इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, फंड्स के लिए जरूरी है कि हम उसको इन्वेस्ट भी करें, उसका अरेंजमेंट करें, उसको यूज करें, है ना, उसको प्रॉपर्ली, उसको एफिशिएंटली यूज करें। Then number two, it focused only on the problems related to corporate entities, ignoring the non-corporate bodies. उन्होंने केवल और केवल corporate entities की बात की है, non-corporate bodies को ignore किया है. The scope of financial management was confined only to a particular segment of business enterprise. So अब देखिए आज का जो time है, that is very, very dynamic, and the scope of the business has also been increased due to the increase in the technology, due to the inventions in the technology. So we need to develop a modern approach. So a modern approach was developed, and the traditional approach focused on source of funds and was too often largely concerned with specific procedural details. Experts pointed out the following two defects of traditional approach. It does not recognize the relationship between financing and the cost of capital and fails to solve the problems relating to optimum combination of finance. Number two, it also fails to deal with the problem relating to the valuation of firm and the cost of capital. So this is a definition that comes under modern approach. It is focusing not only procuring, rather it is focusing on the investing the funds also. So in the words of Solomon, a financial management should know the following. तो एक फाइनेंशियल मैनेजर को ये पता होना चाहिए कि मॉडर्न अप्रोच के हिसाब से हमें पैसे का अरेंजमेंट किस तरीके से करना है, उसका यूज कैसे करना है और आगे उस पैसे को इन्वेस्ट कैसे करना है. So number one, how large should an enterprise be and how fast should it grow? In what form should it hold its assets? What should be the composition of its liabilities? Thus, the modern approach views the term financial management in a broader sense and provides a conceptual and analytical framework for the financial decision making. Therefore, financial management is the modern sense of the term can be related to three major decisions making areas. They are as follows. Number one is investment decision, where to invest funds and in what manner, what amounts. Number two is financing decision, where to raise funds from and in what amount. Then number third decision is dividend decisions, how much of the profit should be paid by way of dividends and how much should be retained in the business. So there are three decisions, बहुत important जो तीन decisions है एक financial manager को जो लेने होते हैं. Number one होता है वो investment करना, यानी हमें अपने पैसे को कैसे इन्वेस्ट करना है, क्या उसका कितने अमाउंट में करना है, क्वांटिटी क्या रहने वाली है. फाइनेंसिंग डिसीजन होता है कि हमें रेज कहाँ से करना है पैसा, क्या हमें शेयर्स की अलॉटमेंट करनी चाहिए, डिबेंचर्स अलॉटमेंट करनी चाहिए या हमें लोन लेना चाहिए. थर्ड डिसीजन होता है डिविडेंड डिसीजन. इसमें हमें ये देखना होता है कि हमें, देखिए कंपनी का जो प्रॉफिट होता है ना, उसके जनरली दो हिस्से होते हैं, दो भाग होते हैं. The number one profit is kept as a reserve for long-term growth, and number two, second part is the part of the profit which is distributed among shareholders as dividend. So the third decision that a firm needs to take is regarding dividend. How much dividend a firm should allocate to its members. So these are the three decisions. Then modern approach laid more emphasis on the one-time events such as promotion, incorporation, reorganization taking place in the corporate life of concern, ignoring the day-to-day financial problems of the concern. The focus was more on long-term finances, working capital, management was considered to be outside the purview of finance function. Then, according to Solomon, the traditional approach has ignored the central issues of financial management, which comprise the following. So now here we are comparing the traditional approach and the modern approach. So what were the drawbacks of traditional approach? Number one, should the enterprise commit capital funds to certain purpose? Do the expected returns meet financial standards of the performance? How should these standards be set? And what is the cost of capital funds to the enterprise? Then number fourth is, how does the cost vary with the mixture of financing method used? Therefore, the traditional approach, while ignoring the above crucial aspects, implied a very narrow. तो कुछ ये जो drawbacks हमें mention किए हैं कि क्या हमें enterprise को commit करना चाहिए capital funds को to certain purpose, अपने किसी स्पेसिफिक जो हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव है उसको फुलफिल करने में, या क्या हमें अपनी फाइनेंशियल नीड्स को पूरा करना चाहिए रिटर्न्स के साथ, या हमें क्या स्टैंडर्ड सेट करने चाहिए और हमारी कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल क्या रहनी चाहिए फंड्स को रेज करने की, और हमें कितने टाइम में जो है उसको रिडीम करना है, हमें ये भी सोचना है. Then let us discuss about financial management process. So there are the following points. Number one is assessing current financial position. सबसे पहले financial management जितना भी हम करते हैं, देखिए पैसा अरेंज करना, पैसा यूज करना, वो सेकेंडरी एक काम है. सबसे पहला काम है असेस करना करंट फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन क्या है, हमारे पास अपने कितने फंड्स हैं कंपनी के पास. नंबर टू, डिफाइन एंड प्रायोरिटाइजिंग गोल्स. ठीक है, कि कंपनी के गोल्स क्या हैं, कितना फंड्स इनका अपना है, कितना इन्हें और चाहिए, कितना कहां से हम रेज कर सकते हैं. देन फाइनेंशियल और इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लान क्या रहने वाला है कंपनी का, implementation of the plan, then monitor, evaluate and adjust performance. So this is the process of financial management. Have a look upon it. Okay, so I'm coming to the next slide. Scope of financial management. Scope covers both acquisition and utilization of funds, efficient and wise allocation of funds to various uses. Financial management involves providing solutions for major operations of a firm. So 3 decisions I told you in the black slide also, that the 3 decisions that are needed to be taken by a financial manager is investment decision, financing decision, and dividend policy decisions. Then next, so I am discussing you separately that under these decisions which type of operations we do. Number one, investment decisions relates to the selection of assets in which funds will be invested by a firm. Invest in fixed and long-term assets and projects is called capital budgeting. Volume of investment, risk and return, cost of capital. Investment and management of current assets is called working capital management. Management of cash, inventory and receivables, profitability and liquidity. Then now under financing decision or finance function, financing decisions are concerned with the capital structure decisions of a firm. It includes proportion of debt and equity, creating proper mix between debt and equity, optimum capital structure, trade-off between risk and return. Then number third is dividend policy decision. Under it, we need to decide the dividend payout ratio considering the benefit of shareholders and firms both. The dividend decision should be analyzed in a relation to the financing decisions of a firm. So these are the decisions of the firm. So next is the duties, roles, responsibilities of a financial manager. What are the duties, what are the roles and responsibilities that are being performed by a financial management? Number one is performing financial analysis. A financial manager is responsible to perform financial analysis. He has to do. Number two is making investment decision. He is the sole authority to make all the investment decisions. Number third, making financing decisions. So these are the 3 broad decisions that are need to be taken by a financial manager. So now next is performing financial analysis and planning. Transforming financing data into form which can be used for decision making, determining need for additional finance. Making an investment decision, under it, he determined the mix of current assets and fixed assets to be held by a firm. And number 2 is determine the type of asset in each category. Then making financing decision, when he takes finance decision, he has to determine mix of short-term and long-term financing and in-depth analysis of available financing alternatives, their costs and long-term implications. Then next, a very important is the challenges for financial manager in changing economic environment. So regulations, globalizations, technology, risk, transformation, stakeholders, management, strategy, reporting, talent, and capability. So these are the broad challenges that come ahead in the way of financial manager. So here I am winding up my lecture. Thank you all of you. Thank you.